Hey Crafty Peeps! Lemon videos seem to do really well on my channel, which makes me happy because I love them too. Such a happy theme. So I have compiled all the lemon videos that I have done in 2020 and 2021 for you, and I hope you enjoy them. So let's get right into them.
I picked up this yellow wood piece from Joann's and I got it on clearance last year. I try to always pick up something at the end of the season that I think I'll use the next year, but still it's not very expensive and Joann's has the best coupons. So I'm using this you guys, maze yellow paint from Waverly, and then I'll use just a regular white chalk paint for the other areas. Once it's painted, I'm going to take this sign from Dollar Tree, and I like the look of it on its own. It's a really cute sign. But I'm also going to take this lemon paper that I got off scrapbook.com, and then I'm going to use some of this greenery from Dollar Tree that is like a vine, and this little printable that I printed off my printer from a Google image. So with this sign, I'm just going to pop off the home here, and I love the wooden, almost like a wooden fence look to it, so I'm not going to fully cover it. So I'm going to take this paper and just cut it down just enough to cover the image that was already there. And using my tape runner here, my double stick tape runner, is how I will adhere it down onto the sign. Now I'm going to place my lemon and then place this vine around it, and I'm just going to play around here. I decide that because the leaves all go in different directions and I don't like how they're sitting, I'm going to take them off and then place them back down and glue them so they're in the position that I want them to be in. Once that's glued down, I'm going to take this graphic here that I had gotten off of Google Images, and I'm going to layer it down onto this coaster. This is just like a chipboard, cardboardy coaster, and then I will cut it to size. And since the sign is distressed, I decide to just kind of ink around this little graphic as well. And then I will attach it to the sign. I felt like it needed one more final touch, and so I'm going to put some of this buffalo check ribbon just around the bottom with a simple little bow. And I picked this up at Michael's, and it was actually in their Christmas clearance, I do believe. So that is where I got that, but I know you can get this year-round at Hobby Lobby in their ribbon section, possibly Walmart too. But that's it for this sign. I just love all the textures and dimensions in it, and it was super easy to make. Okay, now talk about a simple project, but I'm trying to throw in some more simple projects because simplicity isn't the worst thing, especially when you have just a bunch of really just big decor items. So sometimes you just need a little piece of simple to go with it. So I got this placemat at Hobby Lobby, and the charger is from Dollar Tree, and this piece of calendar is also from Dollar Tree. And so I'm just cutting a quick circle. Don't worry about it if it's straight, because I'm going to go back in and just kind of give it a cut down to the leaf size. Now I'm not I'm not cutting close to the actual image. I'm leaving like a white spot, and that leaves more ability to not have it precise. That's what I wanted. It's not totally have to be precise. It's just give this some texture, and then you don't have to worry about it being perfectly round, and I just think it looks really good this way. So I'm just quickly going around and snipping, as you see, in between the leaves and the lemons. Then I just Mod Podge this onto the charger, and then I glue that placemat to the back of the charger, and that's it. And it's so pretty. I love this. I think that placemat, I mean, I just don't think it could have been more perfect. It's like the exact same. Oh my goodness, you guys, I'm stumbling on my words. It's the exact same shade of yellow. And I actually got that last year on clearance, that yellow placemat. So I probably only paid like maybe 50 to 75 cents for it. So this is a very inexpensive project. I have seen these chargers in the store recently at Dollar Tree, so I hope you get your hands on some. That's it for this project. Very simple, but I think it looks really good. This is another simple sign makeover. I'm using this home sign from Dollar Tree, and I paint it white as you see here. I just took that. I didn't make you watch me paint it white, but that's all I did was paint it white. And then I cut this lemonade word out on my Cricut, and the font is Bailey, and I got it from defont.com. So I'll go ahead and I will stick this final shape down. This is my current favorite font. I got it from Christina at Christina Elizabeth Crafts. If you haven't checked her out, go check her out. She has this font she uses, and I'm like, where is that font from? I need it. And so free on defont.com, and it's called Bailey, and I'll link that down below. And even though, so I've been a Cricut user, you guys, like literally since it came out, and it came out in like 2003, but I always used it with paper. And so I'm just now getting a little bit better with the vinyl, but I still, I'm not gonna lie, I struggle a little bit. And I think it's because I'm so used to it cutting out paper and then me just like gluing paper down. So anyhow, so I'm just gonna get this nice and straight. And the way I did it is because it has those two grooves, I lined the bottom of my E-loops. So that's how I knew it was straight. So there's a little tip for you if you can use the lines already on the sign. And as per usual, you see my big blonde mom bun in this shot because I have to lean over to make sure everything looks even. So I'm going to go ahead and press that down and peel it off. And then you'll see up in the corner there, I have my Sharpie marker. And that's because I want to make a border around this sign. And I debated doing it in vinyl, and I'm glad I did it because I think it was much easier doing it with the Sharpie marker. So I grabbed my metal ruler. Oh, here, yeah, I don't know why, but my M folded over for some weird reason, so I'm fixing that right here. Okay, so sometimes I measure, sometimes I don't. I felt like this one I was close enough to be able to eyeball it. But I did go 1 inch from each side and draw my line. And so because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a cute little half circle on the corners. So I will go ahead and, like I said, I'm going to do 1 inch from each corner. And then just a half circle. See how easy that is? It gives it that kind of ticket look. And there you go. See, super easy. And now I wanted to make it look a little more distressed, so I'm going to take some of my Rust-Oleum white chalk paint that I painted this originally in, and I will use just my little dry brush to go over it a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to take this stem from Joann's, and again, I bought this on clearance last year. You're going to find that I buy a lot of stuff on clearance. Anyhow, I love it. If you saw my last video, I used it in that video as well. Okay, and then I will just attach it down to the sign. I do need to cut it a little bit because the stem is a little bit too long. But the nice thing about this is I can glue each little piece into place so that it looks great. So each leaf, each lemon, and these lemons are not hollow. They're a little bit more dense. So I have to make sure it's glued on really well because I don't want it to fall off. And the last step is just adding a little bow. I think it's necessary to cover up where the glue is. So this is just some white and black ribbon that I also got from Michael's in their Christmas clearance. And I really like it. It's definitely not seasonal. And I always look for non-seasonal items in seasonal clearances. I hope that makes sense. So like there'll be burlap and Easter and Christmas, and and they'll heavily discount it because it has a Christmas label. So if you're walking past that seasonal decor clearance, don't walk past it. Walk into it. See if there's something you can use that's non-seasonal, or maybe something that you can easily paint over and make something fabulous out of. I do that a lot. That is how I get a lot of the things that I make over. And that's it for this project. As you can see, it's very simple, but it's such a classy looking sign. I just love it. This is my step outside of my comfort zone project, but it is very easy. So I took a Dollar Tree sign and I just sketched the shape of a lemon. And it's not great. That's okay. Lemons are not, thankfully, perfect rounds like oranges. They're very odd shaped. So I just kind of sketched it out. Then I'm going to use my jigsaw, that's hard to say, jigsaw, to cut it out. I've practiced a little bit with the jigsaw, but this is my first real project using the jigsaw. And I was very intimidated, and I will tell you, it was super easy. And it took me under a minute to cut this lemon out. Okay, so now if you are proficient in using a jigsaw, you're probably cringing. You're like, no, that's not how you do it. Totally give me tips in the comments. I will take them happily. So I think I might not have the right blade. I'm not sure. It's just the blade it came with. And I know that when I use it on a thicker piece of wood, it was not going well. But it went much better on here. And then you'll see that it's kind of, because this is like a particle board, cardboard, wood, I don't know what this is, but you know, the Dollar Tree signs. It needed to be sanded, as you can see, but it sanded up really nicely. Look at it. This is what it looks like. I just barely sanded the edges and they look great. So I'm going to use that maze paint again that I used earlier in the projects. Now, I like to make the smallest mess possible. So if I don't have to put paint in a container to paint from, I won't. And so in this particular sense, I had a big area to fill, so I just pour the paint straight down on it. And I'm just going to cover this, and it took about 2 coats. And once that second coat is dry, I'll go ahead and put my transfer down. And again, this is the Bailey font from defont.com. And then the printed one is also, I want to say it's DJ Bailey. If you type in Bailey, both these fonts pop up. And so that's what I used here. It's 2 different Bailey fonts. And once I get that down, I'm going to take my Sharpie marker and I'm just going to make little dashes. And it's just to give it a little extra. It's not really meant to be like a sewing edge, but you know, just to give it that extra little cuteness. I felt like my lemon needed some leaves. I was looking for some big artificial ones in my stash, but I didn't have any that were big enough. They all looked kind of weird. So I just grabbed a piece of patterned green scrapbook paper for my stash, and I'm going to cut 2 leaves out of this. What I like about this one is it's double-sided paper. So one has like a green swirly, like you see here, and the other side is like a green stripe. So I just add that to the project and it's done. Another simple project. If you know me, you know that my seasonal decor is not complete if I don't have a gnome. And so I picked this sign up from Dollar Tree, and when I took it out of this like wrapper that it came in, like the frame wasn't even attached, so that made my job easy. So I printed out a gnome from Cricut Design Space, and I found one that was an Easter egg. Like the gnome was holding an Easter egg. And so I thought, hey, I can make that Easter egg look like a lemon. And so that is what I'm doing here. So I took just this yellow strip of cardstock, and that's what's going to cover where it says kitchens are made for families to gather. I'm going to cover it with this yellow piece of paper, and then I'll add the frame on top. So I'm new to layering with vinyl. I do know there's some easier ways to match it up, but this one was super easy to match up. The pieces are pretty bold and you can tell where they go. So I just start putting the layers down. Now I'm just going to take my tape runner and adhere it down to the sign and add the frame back to it. The sign's a little bit plain, so it's definitely going to need a bow. Another clearance ribbon, you guys. This one was a clearance St. Patrick's Day ribbon, and I got it for 49 cents. So, woohoo! And then some of the Dollar Tree lemon ribbon as well. And then I'll just add that to the top corner. It really helps bring the image out. And with the lemon ribbon, then you really understand what he's holding, because it does still kind of look like it could be an Easter egg. But hopefully it looks enough like a lemon. Okay, I'm going to use one of these Dollar Tree Cathedral windows, and these lemon stems from Joann's. I picked them up last year on clearance. These 3 ribbons are from Dollar Tree, and this one I found at a store. I think it's called Real Deals. Anyhow, it was also on clearance for about 75 cents. So here I'm trying to decide, do I want to do like a loop bow, or do I want to do just like strips of ribbon? And I decide for the strips, and so I'm just going to dovetail these, and I'm going to do 4 of this pattern, and then I'm going to do 2 of each of the other patterns, and then I'm just going to crisscross them until I get the look I like. Show you my intention. My brain gets blocked at times, but now somehow I'll give you my attention. You've got to know that I ain't a person who understands all the clockwork of our romance. You make me feel so alive, always there in my mind. But I just don't know if I'll dance with the lights on. If you're gonna be moving on solo, wait a second, cause they're playing the best song. I'll be there if you reach out to me. Reach out to me. Each lemon stem had 2 lemons on it, and I only wanted 3. So I broke apart one of them, and I will just add the 1 lemon to this. And I'm just gluing it down. And then I'm going to add another little bow to cover where the stem is glued down. And you get to see my big old hair in the picture there. I want to make sure that everything is nice and centered. So I got to stand up and look over the project. So again, I'm just going to take the lemon ribbon and make a little bow, and it will cover where the stems are. And then I have these little gingham buttons that I found at a Daiso store. It was my first time. I was out of town. If you haven't checked out one of those stores, it's pretty neat. It's kind of like a Japanese Dollar General. So a lot of items that are $1.25 though. But these buttons were from there, and they're really cute. So I'm just going to add that to the center. And then because I want this to be able to stand on its own, I'm going to take part of the back of the photo frame and glue it to the back of this so that it has something to help it stand. These are my favorite types of projects. This is where I just grab a bunch of stuff and then I just start creating. I don't know how it's going to end up looking. I just start. And so I've got all of this lemon colors and pieces, and I'm just going to start layering them. So I'm using this Christmas tag from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cover this part right here in their wrapping paper, and that's just going to give me a finished backing. And then I'm going to take some scrapbook paper that I've picked up here and there, and I'm trying to remember where I got this lemon paper, and it's either Michael's or Joann's. And I remember I got it during quarantine last year, and I did the curbside pickup, so I'm pretty sure it was Joann's. I hope. Anyhow, I'll see if I can find it and link it for you. But that's how I start out, is I always start out with some sort of paper. And this is double-sided paper, and so I'm going to use the lemon side for the bottom half of the tag, and then flip it over, because I have 2 sheets of it, and then the green polka dots will be the top of the tag. I just don't know if I'll dance with the lights on. If you're gonna be moving on solo, wait a second, cause they're playing the best song. I'll be there if you reach out to me. Reach out to me. Now I'm going to paint this little wood piece that I picked up in this kit you see on to the left there from Dollar Tree. And I'm using my paint markers, and these are my absolute favorite. I got them from Walmart, and I will link them below. It's so much easier than actually painting. And then I'm using my white pen here also, which works perfect because these are very tiny little areas that I'm trying to get white. This is the best white pen that I found. I got it on Amazon, and I will also link that below. And the lemon that you see up above is from Joann's. They always have the cutest little wood shapes for the seasons, and they're always on sale. And I picked that up actually on clearance because that's what I do. I love the clearances. So I'm going to just paint this again with the marker. And because I want white to show through where you see it cut out, I'm going to cut out a white piece of paper circle, and I'm going to adhere it behind. That wants to show you my intention. My brain
brain gets blocked at times, but now somehow I'll give you my attention. You've got to know that I ain't a person who understands all the clockwork of our romance. You make me feel so alive, always there in my mind. But I just don't know if I'll dance with the...
Again, I am not totally sure where this is going to end up. I had this piece of buffalo check paper that was left over from another project, and I thought it would look really cute on here. So then I went into my scrapbook stash and I found these two pattern papers that matched perfectly, and so I'm going to use them as backgrounds. So instead of doing a traditional mat, I'm going to do an off-centered one. So I'm going to cut these, the green and the yellow, the same size, but they're only going to go into the corners. When you probably didn't see there, but when I flipped over that yellow, it's actually pizzas. It's really cute paper. And so I couldn't believe how perfect these colors went. I, of course, love paper and I have tons of it. So as you see there, I just did it one corner and one on the other. Now I'm going to use some washi tape, and I'm going to put this over where the two papers met on the original tag, and it just kind of gets that seam met up. And again, washi tape that I bought years ago and I've actually never used, and I'm finally using it. Okay, so my camera died and I lost some footage. So all I did was I used this little tape runner, and it looks like stitching. And so I ran that across the side here. And then at the top, I just distressed the yellow. So I'm just going to show you here on the back of the paper. Also, I have no idea where these sparkles came from. Somehow some sparkly filter got on. So yeah, I don't know how that happened, but it's kind of fun, isn't it? Okay, so I'm taking this sign from Thanksgiving from Dollar Tree, and I just tore off one of the squares and painted it with white chalk paint from Rust-Oleum in linen. And then I cut out this fresh squeezed on my Cricut, and I used two fonts that are both called Bailey that I got off defont.com. So I'm just going to add that now to this little tag. And because I like things to look even, I'm going to use my ruler here just to make sure that it is all positioned well. Okay, so now it's time for me to glue on here with my double-sided tape runner to put this paper down in the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to use my hot glue gun because this is a little heavier, and I'm going to also glue that down. Okay, I'm really digging this little sparkly thing. I don't know what I did to make it a filter on it, but anyhow. So now I'm going to use some of my foam tape because I am putting it on the raised part that says fresh squeezed. So I need my foam tape to be on the opposite side so that it lays flat. I'm just adding the two little lemons. I'm loving how this sign turned out. So I got these straws from Dollar General. They had yellow, green, and blue, and then they have the cute little lemons on them. But I started to think I really like the texture and the like stripes of the straw, so I just cut it in 4 pieces, and I'm just gluing it down over here in this corner. Something about it, I love the texture, and so that's what I'm gluing here. And I liked the little lemon that was glued to it, but the yellow was like neon, and it didn't go with this project. So I'll set it aside because I'm definitely going to do more lemon projects. I will have another lemon video coming out soon as well. So if you like this one, I will definitely be having more. Okay, so I'm going to use some more of this washi tape. If you don't know what washi tape is, it's almost like Post-it note sticky. Like it can come off. It's really great if you need to tape something down but you don't want to like ruin your paper, but it's also decorative, so you can make cards with it. You can just, it's really a neat, versatile thing. So you saw there, I just folded it over and stuck itself, and then I dovetailed the tips there. So I'm just kind of making like a little, almost like a ribbon accent. And then I am using some actual ribbon there in between. And I'm going to use another one of those buttons that I used in a previous project. And now it's almost complete. It just needs a ribbon at the top. And I have this beautiful striped yellow ribbon that I got from Michael's, again on clearance, and I just love the pattern of it. I'm going to glue that to the top, and this project will be done. It was so much fun to make. I just love pulling out a bunch of items and seeing what I can come up with.
I'll be there if you reach out to me.
I'd love it if you come over and join me on Instagram. I share a lot over there that you might not get to see here on YouTube. My handle will be down below in the description. No lemon projects are complete without pulling a page out of this amazing calendar that we all hoped we got our hands on from Dollar Tree. This is a super simple project because, there isn't much to it, but it looks really good. So this metal sign here is from Walmart. It comes in a 2-pack. One is slightly larger than this one that you're seeing here. And I want to say it's $4 for the two. And because I didn't want the paper so thin, I didn't want to put it right onto the corrugated metal because it is going to be like, it'll give it, ins and outs, valleys, however you would say that. So I put it on a piece of poster board that I picked up from Dollar Tree. And this will also add some dimension by giving it some depth there. So just taking some Mod Podge and putting it down on the paper and then adding the calendar sheet to it. I love using my brayer to help get the Mod Podge nice and flat, and mine is super old. I don't even know where I got it, but I will link one down below for you in case you're looking for one. It does help get the wrinkles and bubbles out. And I really liked the shape of the page here, and so I decided that I'm going to use my X-Acto knife and cut around this to make a nice creative, decorative corners.
Reach out to me. I'm a rolling stone tonight, never to be settled. Though I know I can't deny your eyes. I've got this inner battle. I don't know how to act.
Now it's just a matter of adhering it down to this metal. Now, because metal and hot glue don't always get along, I'm going to use some E6000, but for immediate hold, I will put some hot glue in the opposite spots, so it'll keep it there while the E6000 adheres. So that's a finished project. I decided not to put a bow or anything on it because I just liked the simplicity of how it looked. This next project is super easy. I picked up some of this lemon double-sided scrapbook paper from Michael's, and since it's quarantine time, I just did curbside pickup, and that worked great. Anyhow, this circle is from, I guess it's not a circle, it's an oval, is from the Dollar Tree, along with 4 of the tumbling blocks and some Mod Podge. That is all you need. I'm going to trace out 2 of these ovals onto this paper because I'm going to use the green side for the underneath and the lemons for the top. Just cut these out and then we will Mod Podge them right onto the oval wood. I realize you're probably wondering what we're making. We're making a riser for our lemon decor, so this will help with the decorating, and you can put something up on top of it. And this is a great project because you can use these and make them for every season, or you can make it neutral for your everyday decor. After this dries overnight, I will put another coat over the top just to make it nice and protected. The next step is I'm going to take the 4 tumbling blocks and I'm going to cover them in the green polka dot paper. I will cut them out, roll the paper around, and tack them on. I fortunately lose a little bit of footage here, but hopefully you can follow what I was doing. And on that note of losing a little footage, it was because my battery died, and when I inserted the new battery, somehow it shifted the focus of the video, and so the next projects are a little blurry, and I do apologize for that. So thanks for hanging in there with me. And after the legs are covered, I just hot glued them onto the bottom of my riser, and that is all it took. And like I said, I lost a little footage there, so I'm showing you how I wrapped it, but that's all it took. For the next project, I'm going to take one of these printouts and put it on this mason jar to make a cute tabletop decoration. Now, the printout there you can find on my Pinterest page, and I will link it below. And it's just something I designed that you can just print out to any size you want, and it will be what you need for the next 3 projects. As you can see, this little mason jar sign is from Christmas from the Dollar Tree. I love mason jars, and so I bought like 10 of these, and I make one for every season. So I have a Valentine's and a St. Patrick's Day and so on and so on. So I stocked up so I could make several of these. Now, one thing I suggest when you print these out is to print them out on their own. I printed 3 designs on one paper, and it got me in a little bit of trouble just because I had a hard time not running into another image. So once you center your project, you will go ahead and trace around it and make a cut. Now project is ready for Mod Podge. I got this big thing of Mod Podge off Amazon, and I love having and this chalk paint you see off to the side. It's nice having a big supply, but you can get them at Dollar Tree as well. So once I get my image nice and secure on there, I'm just going to go around with a sandpaper to sandpaper the edges so there's no little pieces of paper hanging over. And I just want to make sure it's all trimmed up and nice. Now it's time to add some ribbon to the project. I am so in love with this lemon printed ribbon that Dollar Tree had this year, and unfortunately I can only find one roll, but it is so cute. When I have a printed ribbon, I don't typically tie it in the old-fashioned sense because you can only get the print on one side. So just kind of play around with the ribbon here. At first I think I'm just going to add the ribbon on top of the jute twine that's already on the mason jar. It didn't quite work out, so I'm just going to play around with some ribbons until I get a look that I like. And the second project is complete. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, for the next project, I'm going to take these two signs that I also purchased from the Dollar Tree. I use them in other projects, so this one you're seeing right now actually had a little succulent glued inside of it that I used for another project. So I just pulled that out, and I knew I would use this frame on another day. I go ahead and measure the inside of this little shadow box, and that way I will know where to measure on my image. After I have my measurements, I will cut it out and simply Mod Podge it into the middle. And of course, no project is complete without some ribbon. I thought that this ribbon fit perfectly around the outside of this shadow box. And so just to make it a little more exciting, instead of just painting it, I went ahead and I wrapped that yellow polka dot ribbon all the way around. And then I also take this buffalo check thinner ribbon, which was also the perfect size, and I framed the front with that ribbon. And then I will finish it off with a cute little lemon bow in the middle. Now I'm going to add one of this printed lemon ribbons, and I'm going to make a bow. And so the way I'm going to make a bow is I'm going to cut a strip, and then I'm going to glue it end to end to make it into a circle. This way you will get a nice even bow, and you'll also get the printed sides on the bow. And now with the bow added, another completed project. For the last project, I'm going to take this other shadow box that I also got from Dollar Tree, and I had another idea for it, and I painted, and then I changed my mind, and so that's where this one comes from. But because of the size of my printout, I decided to use the back of this, so it didn't really matter what the front looked like. So I'm going to have to take off the little hook that comes on the back. And then I'm just going to prepare the back by removing the sticker and smoothing out the back. And now that the back is prepared, I will go ahead and measure my image to fit the back of this. And like I said, you can see where I printed it from the other image and it almost didn't have enough room. Now I'll go ahead and cut that out and we'll Mod Podge it onto our frame. And as I want to smooth it out, I'm worried that I might have a little dirty fingers from everything, so I just grab a piece of paper and run it across. That way I don't get any dirty fingerprints across this. You can Mod Podge the top. I just chose not to. I was trying to make these quick and easy DIYs, but again, if you would like to do that, that's a great step to do as well. And now it's time to trim with the ribbon. I decided my edges need a little something extra, so I got a little bit of this black paint and I'm just going to rub it around the edges just to bring out the image a little more, give it a little border. I didn't feel like this one needed a bow on it. This was all it needed with that big image. And that finishes our last project. This note card set, like I said, was from the Target dollar spot. It was $3 and it came with these cute lemon cutout shaped note cards along with just regular size note cards with the lemon backing. When I saw the lemon cutouts, I knew I was going to have to make a garland out of it. But for this first project, I'm going to use just one of the plain note card sets. So I went into my scrapbook stash and I found some rub-ons. You guys, I have had these for at least 10 years. But the Dollar Tree does sell rub-ons. In fact, their black ones are super cute. Or you could use stickers. It really doesn't matter. But if you like rub-ons like these, you could get them at any of your craft stores like Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's. So I went ahead and I cut out my letters. Now they have a little paper backing, and that is what is keeping the rub-on safe. So right now I'm just cutting them up and I am making them symmetrical onto my card. Oops, forgot you. So once I get them all symmetrical, I'm going to put the middle letters on first. And this is just a rub-on tool. You can literally use anything. You can use a dime, a quarter, you can use a popsicle stick. They rub off really well. And like I said, you're going to take the paper backing off of them before you rub them on. And I like rub-ons a little more than stickers because they are on there. It looks like you've printed the letters on there, where stickers are kind of raised and they could come off. Now that all my letters are on, I am going to tie a bow. I am loving the buffalo check with this lemon decor. I just think it is so cute. Now I forgot to mention at the beginning of this video, I am new at making videos and somehow my camera missed focus and this is all blurry, and I apologize for that, but I just thought these projects were so cute and it wasn't something I could re-record. So hang in there with me while I learn the process of recording and all this stuff, and I really appreciate you guys being here at the start of my journey. So again, apologize for the blurriness. And there you go, just a simple note card. But this will look so cute just sitting on your tabletop with your decor. Now for the next project, I picked up this frame from the Dollar Tree, and I cannot believe what a cool frame this is for just $1. Now I knew my lemon was bigger than where the current clip was, so as you saw, I just easily unscrewed it and was able to move that in a minute. Now I just wanted to take off some of the background of this because I thought it was a little bit much, so I just quickly trimmed around it. And now I'm deciding where I'm going to reposition this clip and just kind of playing around with it. And it looks like it's probably just going to go right at the top of the wood. So at first I think I can just screw it back on into the wood. I'm making sure I have my center point. So I take my little screwdriver and I make a little bit of a hole and I try to screw it in, but I was unsuccessful. So I was like, well, we'll just go with plan B, and plan B is just to use hot glue. And let me tell you, I use hot glue typically at all times possible. So just hold that tight and just clip my lemon in. Now what's neat about this is you could clip anything into this for any season. But because I just wanted to give it a little bit extra, and because this To Die For lemon ribbon that I also picked up at Dollar Tree, I decided to add a bow to this project. Now when I have printed ribbon that's not printed on both sides, I typically don't tie a bow. So I make a bow by cutting a strip, and then I will just put a little glue on one tip, and I will connect the sides. So I'm making a circle with the ribbon. And once my circle's put together, I bend it in half to find the center point. And I'm just going to make a little clip on both sides of the center. And this is just going to help to squeeze the center together. And in this case, I'm going to use some of the yellow gingham to make my tails and my center of my bow. And now my bow is ready to attach. And like I said, if you want to use this for another holiday, when you glue onto metal, it's pretty easy to tear the bow off and add something else. All right, for the next project, it's the garland that I was first inspired by. I measured the area that I want my garland, and 5 of these lemons were gonna be what I needed. So I'm just tearing apart so they're just one-sided, and I'm just kind of cleaning up that side that was attached. And just take your regular hole punch and punch a hole at the top, and this will be where you feed the ribbon through. So I got some more of that yellow gingham ribbon, and I'm just going to feed it through, and I'm going to go through the top of all of these so that they lay all the same. And then I just kind of pull them apart to make them even. So now I want to decorate between the lemons. So I cut up some of the black gingham, and I just am doing one simple tie at the middle of each one. And then I'm going to get 2 more pieces, and I'm going to tie on each side of that. So in between each lemon, there will be 3 of these gingham ties. Then I decide that I also want a bow at the top of each of my lemons. So I am going to just tie a couple bows here, and you'll see that I just pull the tails until I get the right size, and I just keep tightening it and pulling, and this is how I get a really nice and even bow. And now all my bows are done and attached to the tops, and the 3 ribbons are in between, and the garland is finished. For the last project, I'm going to take 4 of these note cards and I'm going to turn them into a vase. Now, that sounds kind of strange, but it's super easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of the cards and I'm going to tape them in the center because you won't see the tape. And then I'm just going to take a little dab of hot glue, and we're talking a small little dab, barely squeeze the glue gun, and that will just adhere on the outside. Okay, now that all 4 sides are together, I'm just kind of playing around with what I want to go inside. I have these yellow stems from the Dollar Tree as well as the foam square. Somehow one of mine was empty, so I just cut that off, cut it to fit, and then I'm just going to kind of play around and see how this is going to look. And so now that I have an idea, I went ahead and grabbed a coaster also from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to flip it upside down, and this is going to become my base. Yes, base. Vase and base. And it almost fit perfectly, but not quite. So I'm just going to run a small bit of glue, hot glue, on the side here, and then attach the vase sides to it. Okay, now it is time to decorate the inside of my vase. So I grabbed a few more of these stems that I had, and these lemons. They're from IKEA. They're a little bit smaller than the ones from the Dollar Tree, I do believe. I couldn't find ones at the Dollar Tree, so just happens that I knew I was going to do lemon decor when I was at IKEA in January. I don't have an IKEA where I live, and so I picked these up. So now I'm just kind of placing them in there. I found these are leaves left over. They used to have flowers on them that I used for another project. So I'm just going to push these leaves down in here, down and around, to make this look full. And now, of course, my vase needs some buffalo check ribbon around it. At first, I think I'm just going to tie around it like this, but it just wasn't holding. It wasn't tight enough. So I just went ahead and cut a strip and I glued it. I just did a little dot in the front to hold it into place. And then I will glue around the back to hold it in place again. And then I'm going to tie a ribbon, a bow, and attach it to the front. Down below my Pinterest, and there is a link to where I designed a little lemon and a lemon background that you can print out on cardstock, and you can still make this project.